Yesterday, we followed your data from router to router. Every intersection made another decision. Every network found another path. But eventually, every road ends. The coastline appears. Beyond it, an entire ocean. Your destination is on another continent. No roads remain. No towers. No cities. Only water. So here's today's mystery. How does the internet cross an ocean?
Ask someone how the internet travels between continents. Many will answer satellites. It sounds reasonable. They're already in space. They're already above us. Surely that's how the internet works. But surprisingly, that isn't how most global internet traffic travels. The overwhelming majority takes another route, one that's far less visible, far less glamorous, yet infinitely more important. It travels beneath the sea, inside cables thinner than a garden hose, stretching thousands of kilometers across the deepest parts of our planet.
Here's the first surprise. Those cables don't carry electricity. They carry light. At the center are incredibly pure strands of glass, almost impossibly thin, yet engineered with astonishing precision. Around them, layers of protection, waterproof barriers, steel reinforcement, protective armor. Not because the glass is weak, but because the journey is extraordinary, across thousands of kilometers, under immense pressure, across mountains hidden beneath the ocean floor. Inside those tiny strands, light becomes information, and information becomes the modern internet. Not electricity, not radio waves. Light, the same phenomenon that lets you see a sunrise, the same physics that creates a rainbow. The internet discovered that light could do something remarkable. It could carry information faster than almost anything humans had ever built. But that raises an even bigger mystery. How can light carry a movie, a phone call, an email, or even this very video? Imagine someone standing many thousands of kilometers away. Instead of speaking, they flash a light. On, off, on, on, off. At first, it looks meaningless, but if both sides agree on the pattern, those flashes become information. Letters, words, pictures, videos. Everything you see online can ultimately be reduced to simple binary signals, zeros and ones. Inside a fiber optic cable, those zeros and ones become tiny pulses of light, blinking millions of times every second, too fast for the human eye to see, yet perfectly understandable to the machines waiting at the other end. Now comes the real magic. If you shine a flashlight through ordinary glass, the light escapes. It spreads. It fades away. Fiber optics behave differently. The glass is engineered with extraordinary precision, so precise
that light becomes trapped inside the core. Instead of escaping, it continuously reflects again and again and again, like a racing car bouncing perfectly between two invisible walls. This phenomenon allows light to travel enormous distances while carrying information with astonishing efficiency.
Some submarine cables stretch farther than entire countries, thousands, even tens of thousands of kilometers, across oceans where sunlight never reaches, at depths greater than the height of the tallest mountains if they were turned upside down. Yet the journey cannot rely on one continuous beam of light. Even light gradually weakens. So along the route, small devices wait patiently. Not servers, not routers, optical repeaters. Their only job is to strengthen the fading signal so the journey can continue all the way to another continent. But imagine the unthinkable happens. A cable is damaged. An anchor drags across the seabed. A landslide shifts deep beneath the ocean. One connection suddenly disappears. Does an entire continent lose the internet? Surprisingly, not usually, because beneath the oceans, there isn't just one cable. There are many, crossing different routes, connecting different coastlines, quietly protecting each other. And that reveals another hidden layer of how the internet survives, even when the impossible actually happens.
When people imagine the ocean floor, they picture silence, darkness, endless emptiness. But beneath those waters lies another world, a world built by humanity. Hundreds of submarine cables stretch across the planet, connecting continents, connecting economies, connecting families, connecting ideas. If we could drain the oceans, we wouldn't just discover mountains and valleys. We would discover one of the largest engineering projects ever attempted by our species. Invisible highways, quietly carrying the conversations of civilization.
Here's another remarkable fact. A single fiber optic cable doesn't carry one conversation, or one movie, or one website. It carries millions of them at the same time. Your video call, someone else's online class, a hospital transferring medical images, a scientist analyzing research data, a company backing up its cloud servers, an artificial intelligence answering thousands of questions, all sharing the very same strand of glass, separated not by distance, but by light itself. Different colors, different wavelengths, traveling together without interfering. One cable, countless conversations. People often say the internet moves at the speed of light. That's almost true. Light travels fastest through empty space. Inside glass, it slows slightly. Not because the technology is inefficient, because physics demands it. And yet, even after slowing down, those pulses of light can circle enormous portions of our planet in fractions of a second, fast enough that a conversation between continents can feel almost instantaneous. The internet isn't fast because distance disappeared. It's fast because humanity learned how to make light work for us. Thousands of years ago, civilizations were connected by rivers, then by roads, later by railways, then by highways. Today, our civilization is connected by light, ideas, knowledge, commerce, science, friendship, entertainment, opportunity. Almost all of it crosses the world inside tiny strands of glass, hidden beneath oceans that most people will never see. Perhaps the greatest highways ever built by humanity are also the most invisible. Modern applications depend on invisible infrastructure, distributed systems, cloud platforms, reliable networking, scalable interfaces, automation, security. The strongest digital products are built the same way the internet was built, layer by layer, component by component, designed to evolve. If you'd like to explore production-ready templates, admin dashboards, UI frameworks, and professional developer resources inspired by modern internet architecture, you'll find our curated recommendations in the description below. Today, we followed your data across the deepest oceans, inside nothing more than strands of glass. We discovered that the internet doesn't leap across continents. It flows quietly as pulses of light. But our journey still isn't finished, because when that light finally reaches land, another invisible system takes control. Gigantic machines begin directing traffic, balancing demand, protecting networks, keeping billions of connections alive every second. So next time, we step inside the minds of the internet, the devices that make millions of routing decisions before you even notice a web page has loaded. This is NextNet, not just revealing technology, revealing the invisible engineering that quietly powers modern civilization.